I've been using Poppy AI for over a year, and when I started using it, the value was pretty obvious. I could put my content, my brand sheets, my offers, everything I have, all my assets into one place, and it would spit out to me scripts, ads, emails, so much more content. But now it's 2026, going into 2027, and the question is it even still worth it? Because we all know Claude can write amazing scripts, we all know Manus can do a ton of research, and there's new AI tools coming out every single week that claim to do exactly what Poppy AI does, but for less money. So I wanted to answer this properly. Is Poppy AI still worth it in 2026, or are you better off using Claude, Manus, and all those other tools? So I'm gonna break down what Poppy AI does better, what those other tools do better, what you should be using, and I'm gonna be completely honest with this one. So let's get into it. So for those who don't know what Poppy AI is, it's pretty much an app like this one where you can actually create visual workflows. You can connect all your different assets in one group visually. You can give it a bunch of text prompts, etc. Give it all the assets it needs to create the output, and then you can connect it to an AI chat just like this one, and have it generate scripts or whatever you want. For me, I just use it to make scripts pretty much. And so this is an example. So I have this guy's YouTube channel here. I have his subscription, like what he does, his channel, everything like that. And I have his Calendly page. So it can look at, who is actually trying to qualify, who he wants as a client. And then here I have a bit of a prompt: leverage the videos connected, do not be word for word for the reference videos, etc. I gave it a good title framework to use. Then I have a bunch of references attached for it to take some information from. And these are mostly his videos. And most of the times the references will just be their videos, so they can sound and talk just like how they actually talk, right? I want it to sound just like them, not like some AI robot. And then I go over here and I prompt it. I would pretty much say something like, each prospect has a different script, use it. I tell the channel information, etc. I don't want to leak the whole thing, but pretty much I'm just prompting it. And you can see over here in the assets, I'm giving it a ton of different resources. So some of these I might actually have to blur because there's some documents with the names of private communities that don't want to be public. But for some of these that are not blurred, I can actually give to you for free. So if you want that, you can sign up with Poppy using the first link below. You get a huge discount. And so that's pretty much what I use it for. So when it comes to Claude, we're looking at it now. Pretty much what you would have to do here is you'd have to create a different project. You'd create that project, and then you can give all the context, instructions, etc. Same thing with Manus. Manus does the same thing, and you can just give it the prompt here and everything. But the thing I like about Poppy is that it's super visual. You can actually see everything that's going on, and you can have multiple different projects in one file. You don't need to click around those different chats and it gets confusing. With Poppy, it's super easy. Like I have different names for each different board, and you can organize super well, and it's just a lot more visual. Like 90% of people are visual learners, so why wouldn't you want to see what you're working with instead of just having a bunch of text like Claude? And one of the biggest advantages that Poppy has is that it's super consistent. Honestly, I've used Claude for scripting, I've used Manus for scripting. One thing about Poppy, it's super consistent with its brand voice and its style. As long as you prompt it the exact same way, it's going to give you the exact same output format for different things, and it's super consistent. It's never failed me, at least. But with Claude, when you give it different prompts and you tell it to do different things, it sometimes gives you a different output, which I find kind of annoying. Actually, Manus does this a bit less than Claude. Claude's gotten a little worse over the years. I'm not sure what happened, but Manus is definitely a lot more consistent. But Poppy is overall the most consistent, I'd say, to be honest. And when it comes to script writing, Poppy just wins overall, because you can easily attach different reference videos, whether it's from your channel or other people's channels. You can easily attach it in here, and then you can just have it create the output, right? In Claude, what you would have to do is you can give it the video, but you would have to honestly, it would be better if you just give the transcripts. And for that, you'd have to go to the YouTube video, copy paste the transcript, or get the link, go to a different website, get the transcript, and then copy and paste that into Claude. It's so much more confusing. When with this, even if you're doing ads or blogs or something like that, you can just copy and paste different references from other blogs or different videos, or landing pages even. This helps with websites as well. And then you can just have it create that output. Right? So that's what scripting, that's what things that are writing. When it comes to things like collecting data, like doing research, I think that's where Manus wins. When it comes to Manus, they just had this welcome back bonus. And yeah, you can sign up with Manus using the second link below. I'm pretty sure, look at this big discount, it's huge. And so pretty much this is Manus. It does a lot more research. Manus is probably one of the smartest AI bots I've ever used. And so you can see, for example, here, I have my different channels. For example, this one helps me with my YouTube strategy. I kind of used it for the packaging of this video. And so I give it a lot of different assets that I have for my brand, and I have it do research on Poppy AI, the new use cases people are using it for, because I'm up to date with it. I use it every single day, but there's probably some new things out there that I'm not aware of. So I have it do research on that. I have it do research on other things as well, not just YouTube, but maybe foods, right? On just different things that I would use AI for in my business. right? Maybe on operations in my agency, right? Because I run a YouTube agency. I would have it through research and look at all the different operations or types of operations and how I can adjust mine to make me even more money with my business. I prefer to use Manus for research. I just find it a lot more useful. I will say though, one thing that Claude does extremely well is it has such a big context window and it can digest that information and give you good output from it. And so for example, if you're reading a really big article or maybe you need a bunch of transcripts to be dissected, you wouldn't want to really do that in Manus. You wouldn't really want to do that in Poppy because the credits, you'd want to do that in Claude. And Claude does this super well where it just has such a big context window and it can take all the information so well from text and then digest it and give you a good output. That's one thing I really like Claude for. If I have something that has a lot of text, I'm gonna give that to Claude over everything else. It just has such a huge context window. For example, I'm not even sure if I can really find it, but what I would like to do is if I don't wanna watch a full video, I'm going to give it to Claude and I'm gonna have it just dissect that video and give me all the good information from it. Claude's by far the best one that does this. Manus can do it as well. I just like Claude for it because of the big context window, right? Sometimes I give it a full doc of transcripts and it dissects that super easily. And another thing I use Claude for is good text posts. For example, on X, on LinkedIn, it's kind of good at writing as well, not just Poppy, not just Manus. No, I use Manus for more research. I use Claude for more of the writing side, and I use Poppy for the writing side as well, a lot more than Claude. Poppy is my main writing tool. The only thing I use Claude for is adjusting my text posts. For example, if you look here, you can see I'm using it for some of my LinkedIn posts, my X posts. I find it does really good with that. I gave it my style. I told it everything I like, my brand and everything like that, and so it does it extremely well. I could use Poppy for it as well. I just find Claude a lot easier because, nothing's visual is really needed here. I just copy and paste my raw rough draft, right, of what I want to write. Then I have Claude just adjust it or format it. Formatting is also what Claude does really well. I use it for scripts as well. Poppy formatting, it doesn't really come out that well for me, to be honest. And so I get the scripts from Poppy and then I copy paste it into Claude and then it just formats it for me. And then I just take that and I put it onto Google Doc, right? Because I don't want to copy and paste bad formatting from Poppy to Google Docs, then I have to format it. I'd rather just AI do it for me, copy and paste it over, it's already done, right? And so it's super easy process for me though, and it's super simple. You can see I'm giving it all these transcripts or all these scripts from Poppy and then it just formats all of them at once. Also, another thing that I really like about Poppy is not just because it's visual, but it can take so many different sources. For example, Facebook ads, it just added that ability. You can take Loom videos. You can have the recording of your voice. And it's adding a lot more things around content where you can do a lot more research. And so I might be using this a lot more, but they now support LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and they can look and do research on socials now, which is extremely amazing. And it's visual. And so you can have even your team in here. For example, if I were to press up here, share, then I would make it public or create a link. I could have so many different people in here, my team members, and we could just share assets here or maybe do projects together. It's very useful. Like Poppy is very useful just because of the visual aspect. And so I don't want to make this video too long, but just as a quick summary, if you're just using AI every single day just for general tasks, then Claude's probably the best option for you. If you're doing a lot more research and development, kind of like that stuff, maybe on landing pages or maybe on websites, things like that, or maybe just your agency, Manus is probably better for that research stuff. And if you're using AI to create content or maybe on the marketing side a lot more, maybe you're a copywriter, maybe you're a content creator, Poppy is probably gonna be the best option for you. And so they have different use cases. You just wanna use whatever one you need for whatever use case that you need it for. And so Poppy is definitely not the cheapest way to access AI, but it definitely has its pros over Claude and Manus, vice versa. So is Poppy still worth it in 2026? The answer is yes, depending on your use case. So if you want to sign up for any of these tools, the link's going to be in the description. For Poppy, you get a big discount. For Manus, I'm pretty sure it has a huge discount right now, as you saw earlier. So you definitely want to sign up for that. And then for Claude, I don't think they're doing anything right now. It's just normal pricing for that one. Let me know if you think Poppy is worth it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.